Hey Gators and sports fans, get all your Gator talk, news, analysis, and opinions on the Pod Up with Matthews in the Morning podcast. Find us on your favorite podcast platform or watch us on Facebook Live between 8 a.m. and 9 a.m. every weekday. Pod Up, because we are Gator fans. So say it's great to be a Florida Gator.
Good morning and welcome to a Friday edition of Pod Up with Matthews in the Morning from the Crime Prevention Security System Studios, large enough to serve you, small enough to care. Last day of 2021, and then we turn the page to 2022. Hope everybody's going to go out and be safe in their celebrations or sit around and watch ball all day, whatever you may be doing. We'll be joined by JC here momentarily. He'll be our correspondent from Dallas, out at Jerry's World for the Alabama-Cincinnati game that kicks off around 3:30 Eastern time, I believe. A lot of bowl games yesterday. Very entertaining games for you folks that think we have too many bowl games and kids don't care. And I thought it was tremendous effort from the games that I watched. I thought it was outstanding. Kids playing for their schools, playing for their teammates, and I thought it was fun to watch. I'd like to get your thoughts today on if you watched any of those games and what have you. Let's see, today's games, we got the Gator Bowl that kicks off at 11 this morning, which is going to be an interesting game because Rutgers, I don't know what day Rutgers arrived in Jacksonville, and I don't know how they assembled their entire team that quickly when kids all went home. But they're going to be playing Wake Forest at 11. And then Jim McElwain's squad, Central Michigan, is going to play Washington State in the Sun Bowl at noon. And then you got the two playoff games, Alabama, Cincinnati in the Cotton Bowl at 3:30, Georgia, Michigan, the nightcap at 7:30 down in the Orange Bowl, the Arizona Bowl. I don't know if that was supposed to be played today or not, but it's been canceled. And you got a bunch of games tomorrow, obviously. So JC will be calling in shortly. We'll do our Peachland Dentistry weekend picks. Get your thoughts on the games as well. Andy says on Facebook Live, Tennessee was robbed. Yeah, that was a bad call. Tremendous game to watch. I got to tell you what, and I tweeted this. I've always been a big fan of his. Jeff Brom is, in my opinion, one of the top 3 or 4 play callers in all of America. He does more with less talent than maybe any coach in America. And why he is not at a major football program, I don't understand it. Because from an offensive standpoint, he's as good as anybody in America. And in my opinion, there's only 2 schools right now from an offensive standpoint that run what I call old school vertical passing that was built by Steve Spurrier that are very equivalent to what he ran. That's Alabama and Purdue. They are as close to as what we used to do back in the day. And I just think Jeff Brom is unbelievable. So anyway, it says right here, Chris says, I love the Tennessee-Purdue game. Sure, Tennessee's got a legitimate gripe about the outcome, but just pure entertainment's sake, not having an emotional connection to their team. It was a tremendous game to watch. Yeah, it was outstanding. Tremendous crowd. Both teams played extremely hard. Purdue was missing a bunch of players, but you didn't hear anybody griping or bitching or any of that stuff. They went out there and played hard, and it was fun to watch for sure. Let's see. We just got a text on the Titan MR text line. Where'd it go? Let me pull it up here. It says, this is from, I'm not sure who this is from. It says, you're 1,000% right. Every game counts. NFL's a job. And more are on the, I don't know what, I can't understand that text, so I apologize for reading that one. This one comes from Daryl. Daryl says, good morning, Shane. I think Josh Heupel was too aggressive late in the game yesterday. I think he should have ran the ball to get the kicker closer to kicking the field goal. Go blue and roll tide. No dogs allowed. Thanks, Daryl. Yeah, Josh Heupel, they got stuffed on a couple of really short 4th and 1s throughout the course of that game. But like I said, it was a very entertaining game. Boy, both teams could have just laid down, but it was fun. I salute what the South Carolina Gamecocks did, folks. Shane Beamer goes 7-6 in year one. They are a bad football team, but they took it to Mac Brown and the Tar Heels yesterday. He got a nice dose of 4 gallons of mayonnaise dumped on his head, which is disgusting. Daniel says here on Facebook, Copeland versus Bama should have been blown dead too, but wasn't. I'm not sure what he's talking about. Yeah, Michigan State, Joseph said Michigan State had a tremendous comeback. They were down 21-10 late in the fourth quarter, came back and won 31-21. Had a pick 6 there. You know, Pitt was on their third quarterback. Boy, but they played hard. Give Pat Narduzzi and his crew credit as well. I just think it's awesome for all these people that want to be negative about we got way too many bowl games. To hell with that. The more bowl games, the better. The ratings are great, I believe, from a TV standpoint, and people want games. If you don't want to watch them, don't watch them. But I thought yesterday was great across the board. It says a lot of plays this season should have been blown dead too, but it is what it is. Go Big Blue. A lot of people are pulling for the Michigan Wolverines today, and for some reason, I don't think they have a chance. It's just my gut feeling. All right, let's go to the Titan MR hotline, and we got our correspondent live from Dallas, Texas. He's standing right outside AT&T Stadium with his pom-poms already. Good morning, JC. How are you?
Yes, good morning, QB. And you're right. I literally am standing just about an eighth of a mile away. I can see the stadium. I got the beautiful Globe Life ballpark where the Rangers play indoors. They kept the old stadium up as well. They haven't knocked it down. It's here. The old ballpark at Arlington is still here. The only thing they need to do is knock down this Sheraton that I'm staying at because it's about 30 years old and it looks like it on the inside. Other than that, everything's great. I love being here. Thank you.
Yeah. We got a Facebook Live here from Vince, brought to you by Metal Law. He says the issue is rewarding mediocrity with a bowl game. I have no idea what that was referring to. If he's talking about we have too many bowls.
What are you talking about?
I don't know. Whatever it is, I disagree with him. I don't even know what he's talking about, but I disagree with him. Bowl games are a reward.
Yeah.
And if you don't want to watch it, don't watch it. But you're going to sit here and try to tell me yesterday you had 2 6-6 teams playing in Charlotte, I believe. Carolina may have a little bit better record. You tell me those kids didn't want to be there and play. You tell me those people didn't want to be in Nashville. I thought Pitt, Michigan State was a tremendous game too. I only watched the first quarter of the Arizona State Wisconsin game, but I disagree with that 110%. JC, real quick before we get to our picks here in a minute, what did I go 2-1-1 yesterday? What was the Wisconsin point spread?
Well, first of all, Wisconsin was laying 6.5.
Oh, I won, man. Okay, so I went 3-1 and got screwed by third string quarterback throwing a pick 6.
Well, yeah, I mean, Pittsburgh had that game in complete control, but the only problem was they forgot to get any first downs in the second half, and Michigan State.
Right, but the kid doesn't throw the interception with 10 seconds left.
Well,
I go 4-0 against you.
Well, Pittsburgh could have kicked a field goal and pushed it to overtime. They could have easily gone to overtime. And so it didn't happen, but I felt bad for those Pitt kids. I mean, those kids, they all played hard. Everybody played their tails off in these games. So I guess I joined late here. I guess the topic you started off with was the bowl games didn't seem to be that important, but you couldn't tell that to anybody who played yesterday.
I basically said they were great games. Kids played hard. Coaches coached hard. They were very entertaining. Yeah. And Vince was referring to his mediocrity. He says 6-6 teams don't deserve a bowl trip. Disagree 100%.
Well, I don't know. I mean, so what would you rather have them just not play? If they get a chance to play and people are willing to pay them and there's a network that's willing to show it, why not? I mean, what else are you going to do?
Exactly.
What else? What?
He obviously has never been part of a team or understands the experience these kids go to these different cities. It drives me crazy.
Well, it's okay. It's QB. Listen, there's a lot of people that watch these games. I mean, the network that shows on ESPN is getting tons of viewers. I mean, I think we have over 1 million something viewers. That almost 1 million people watched the Potato Bowl or something like that. I mean, there's a lot of people that watch this stuff, and it doesn't matter. I mean, listen. ESPN would not be showing any of these games if it was a money loser. They do it because it's making money. They make money showing these football games. That's a simple fact. They wouldn't be doing this if it wasn't profitable. That's just the way it is.
Joseph says, referring to getting doused by 4 gallons of mayonnaise, he says, if I made what these coaches make, I'd rather donate $10,000 of my own salary, the tax write-off that way. Look, Shane Beamer, he was willing to take that mayonnaise bath because, dude, they won 2 games last year. They won 7 this year. Nobody expected South Carolina to do what they did. And kudos to him and his staff and his players. I mean, they were missing a bunch of guys too, and they played hard.
Mac was willing to take it too. I mean, they both agreed to do it.
That's one of the most overrated teams. Who's more overrated, Iowa State or North Carolina? They were both ranked I think before the season started. They both won 7 games, I think.
Yeah, I think before the season started, you'd have to give that award to North Carolina because of where they were rated.
Ranked 6.
Yeah. Okay.
I think North Carolina was 10. Iowa State was 6.
Yeah. Well, they didn't have good seasons. It was a disappointing season for those 2 schools. But I think look, I mean, South Carolina. What can you say? The biggest win of their season came, I think, against Florida, just because of how it happened and what happened, and then they finished 7-6. They had a great year. That is a tremendous accomplishment for Beamer because of where that program sat. And I think the University of Florida is somewhat in that position that they were in before the season. There was a lot of unknowns, a new coach, and the Gators. If they go 7-6 next year with a big bowl win like that, that wouldn't be terrible. I'll just say that.
Steve says on Facebook Live here, brought to you by Metal Law. Hey, Shane, I like our new coach, but do you know why the Gators would not consider Jeff Rama's possibility as a head coach? I don't know why any schools aren't considering Jeff Rama. I've been talking about him for 5-6 years now. I think the world of him is from a play caller, schemer, his concepts. It's like it's basically the old Spurrier stuff, and nobody else runs it. But apparently, I tweeted something. I had Purdue people all over me saying he is very happy where he is. So, but here's the thing. He needs to go get some really good team. I mean, he doesn't have very good talent, but boy, he can out-scheme you in a heartbeat.
They had some players yesterday, though, that were replacement players. I mean, guys that hadn't played much.
They were missing like 10 starters.
That's right. And so they found some guys that wanted to do it. And, God, what a game that was. But I'm sorry, that was a bad call on the goal line for Tennessee. I think he was it. Yeah, I think that was a touchdown. And, that's then they had the chance to either win it. Well, no, they would have kicked the extra point. You're right. And then we would have seen what would happen with Purdue. But it didn't happen. Bad call.
Vince says everyone gets a trophy society. And yes, I played football and wrestled on strong teams back in the day.
Yeah.
But that doesn't matter. Okay, so what's the difference between a 7-5 team going to a bowl and a 6-6? Look, there's plenty of bowls. I wish they had more bowl games, quite honestly, because I think kids need to be rewarded to go this. And they're not getting a participation trophy. It's not like they win the game. They're getting some championship ring. It is a reward for them to get to play an extra game, get a lot of nice bowl gifts, and an experience they will remember the rest of their lives. That's what people do not realize.
So it's you versus Vince this morning. Okay. Well,
no. I don't think he has anything ground to stand on.
No, I'm on your.
You're going to sit here. You're going to sit here and tell me that. Let's just use the bowl games yesterday. That none of those teams deserved to be in those bowl games, and none of those teams wanted to be in those bowl games.
Yeah, I don't understand. Yeah, I mean, why is this? Why would anybody be against it happening. I mean, so what? Let them go. I mean, they're willing to put this party on for these football teams, and there's a network that's willing to show it. I don't know what the big problem is. Who cares? I mean, listen, South Carolina won yesterday. They're 7-6. It's going to propel them into the spring and give them something very positive to build upon. I mean, that's a big deal for them. What would be better, them not playing yesterday and sitting at the house and worrying about COVID and this and all this crap that we see in the news today? I mean, is that better? Would that be better than what they went through yesterday and experienced? And even for the team that lost, North Carolina, I mean, they got to play football. You don't think Sam Howell didn't want to play with the season he had this year? I mean, sure, he wanted an extra audition out there to just throw the football around. What if he had thrown for 495 yards? I mean, look at what the Tennessee and Purdue did yesterday. It's 1,300 yards of offense. I think somebody got there. You know, who knows? Hooker, Herndon Hooker. You think he didn't enjoy yesterday's experience? Yes, even though he lost. Look at all the things that happened for him yesterday. I mean, he got people's attention. So it was a positive thing, win, lose, or draw. It was a good thing that happened yesterday that they got to play. I mean, 69,000 people in Nashville could have gone anywhere, but they went to the Nissan Stadium to watch a damn football game. That's great. What's wrong with that? I don't see the problem.
Yeah, Joseph says after you lose one, maybe two games, depending on what team you are, every game after that is essentially meaningless. So I guess we should just cancel the whole season after a team lost. That's what I said yesterday on the show. But it's true. It's true. JC, Billy Napier's got three or four or five stars coming in here in the next couple of weeks. But Travis Etienne's little brother, Trevor Etienne, is a 4-star running back that's narrowed his choices to Florida, LSU, and Clemson. But he's doing this new. Are you familiar with these NFT collectibles?
I'm not.
Yeah, I don't really understand what it is either. It's basically like an electronic version of a football card, I believe, but you really never own it, but you can buy it and it's worth a lot. It sounds like all that Bitcoin, all that stuff that I don't really understand either. So anyway, I just saw an article on that basically you can purchase one of his NFTs trying to figure out what school he's going to out of those three, and then you're in a drawing for a lot of money or something. I thought it was interesting because I've heard of the NFT thing, but I don't quite understand it at all.
Well, I'm going to pass on that whole concept until it comes out, and I'll worry about it later. I got, there's going to be 70,000 people here where I'm at today that aren't thinking about NFTs, but and in Miami,
they might be. Daniel says on Facebook Live, "Gosh, I hope the Mutts lose, but I don't see it happening, Shane. But you just never know." Yeah, I don't see Georgia losing either today. Gary says Tennessee will be a challenge next year. I believe Tennessee. I'm going to go ahead and predict on December 31st of 2021. They're either going to go 7-5 or 8-4, best case scenario next year is my guess.
2022, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think they're. I don't know. I think they'll be better defensively next year. That's a glaring weakness of theirs. But offensively, you can't overlook them. QB. I think they.
Well, we also got to remember. I mean, I know they do good things offensively, but it goes in spurts, and you can't really put a whole lot of weight into what happened yesterday. Purdue didn't have one starting defensive back playing.
Yeah.
But anyway, Andy asked, do we need another running back? Yes, you can never have enough running backs, and we don't really know who our running backs are going to be next year. I mean, obviously we have Lingard and Bowman are still on the roster, I believe, but we need plenty of running backs. Chris says tons of money to be made finding the motivated teams versus the non-motivated ones. Worth driving to Tennessee to bet. How nuts is that? Tennessee's residents live with more freedom than Floridians. Greetings from Chattanooga.
I like it. Well, I tell you, man, that I guess he's referring to the ability to do wagering on your phone or mobile wagering and sports betting. So Florida had that. I thought
that was legal in Florida now.
It was for a month. The Indians started it, the Seminole tribe, with the Hard Rock Sports app, but then the What I believe to be the case is that the pari-mutuel industry and the other industries out there competing for your discretionary dollars got a federal judge to outlaw this until we had probably what will happen is a voter referendum next year. And it was outlawed because the argument was that the Indians, the Seminole tribe, was not able to do this off their land, even though their argument is that their servers were taking these wagers that people were doing mobily in the state. And you could do it in Pensacola, Fort Myers, wherever in the state, but that wasn't on the Indian land. But the argument was from the Seminole tribe that the bets that they took was on their land because the servers that were processing all of this was in their facility, but the federal judge ruled against them. And, why a federal judge who's unelected has the power to do something like that once it was out there and the governor basically is in favor of it is beyond me. And I think that the guy, I think our viewer is correct. That's not. Then there's also this argument that the Seminoles should have to allow competitive forces to come in and be able to do it as well, like FanDuel or DraftKings or MGM Live or Caesars, Barstool, and all that, and instead of having a monopoly on it. So there's a lot of things to be worked out. I think eventually it'll come down to a voting referendum, and then we'll see if Florida wants to join the 21st century or 22nd century and 21st century and be a part of what 23 other states, I think, can do in the country. It's really ridiculous. But the lawyers down in South Florida and the people who saw money leaving their businesses got this federal judge to do this, and that's what happened to it. But it was working for about a month.
Yeah, I was not.
The thing about it, to me, the problem is that it's going to happen regardless. So you can either have the money in-house or it's going to go offshore. It's going to go. It's not going to stop happening, and that's the whole issue, isn't it? I mean, folks are still doing it. They're still doing it with offshore sites and whatnot, and that's what's happening. And why not bring that revenue home? And that's part of why the Seminole tribe had already begun doing it. And it's just amazing how some things are not allowed while other things are. But it will come eventually. I just think it's inevitable because there's too much money involved.
Turn your car or truck into a rolling billboard for your business or brand with an eye-catching vehicle wrap from WrapSpot this December. You have 1 day left in December. Mention promo code Shane and receive 13% off your vehicle wrap. We're speaking with JC live from Dallas, Texas on the Titan MR hotline. Just some news and notes before we get to our picks here. If people missed it, Billy Napier kept one guy from the previous staff, and that's Paul Pasqualoni, the longtime Syracuse coach with the Cowboys, coached for many, many years. He will be one of those director of scouting, self-scout deals, which he was doing already. So they did keep him. JC, I got a little, before we get to our picks, a little fun here, a little trivia. I get these emails, and these are kind of interesting. So I'm going to see how much you know about the schools that have played in the college football playoff and the Final Four in men's college basketball.
Oh, my God. Jimmy, come on. We're talking about basketball right now?
No,
for God's sake. Go ahead.
No. Listen to the question.
All right.
The college football playoff has not been around very long, JC. Okay? So these are the teams that have made both the college football playoff and have played in the Final Four in men's basketball. There are only 11 schools that have made both.
Okay.
Can you name those?
Wow. I'm going to go with Michigan.
Michigan is one.
I'm going to go with Georgia.
Correct.
And then it's kind of, and literally is very foggy here in Arlington. And at this hour, I'm an hour in front of you. I'm drawing fog right now, but I definitely know those two. The college football playoff and the Final Four, right? Okay, so basically I would think of the Final Four first and then the college football playoff second. I've got to say Oklahoma.
Oklahoma is correct. That's three of them.
And that's three of them. And you said there were 11?
Yeah. It would be more. It'd make more sense for you to the college football playoffs only been in existence for X amount of years.
Think of that
Think of the
first.
teams that played in that.
Well,
yeah.
I'm going with Ohio State. That's got to be another one.
There you go. That's 4.
Yeah, that's 4. And then I've got to say Auburn, the Auburn University Tigers.
They've never been in the 14 playoff.
Oh, you're right. That was the BCS championship. Excuse me. I'm sorry. Okay, you are correct there. Alabama, of course.
They've never been to the Final Four.
Wait a minute. They've never been to the Final Four.
Yeah.
Well, I got 4 of them off the top of my head, QB. That's not bad.
Okay, so I'm going to read them out here. Georgia, Oregon.
I got that one. Oh, Oregon.
Oklahoma.
Okay. I got
Ohio
that one.
State,
Got that
Notre
one.
Dame, LSU,
Okay. LSU,
Michigan State, Washington, Florida State, and the Cincinnati Bearcats.
Yeah, the Cincinnati Bearcats. Good for them. Well, okay, that's a great question, QB, because the Cincinnati, if I had 2 more minutes, I just didn't want to put everybody to sleep on the podcast. But I know I could have gotten LSU. I know I would have gotten Oregon. And Cincinnati is a great one. Yeah, they're here, man. The Bearcat fans are here. I'm not sure they know what's going on. Here's the thing, Cincinnati, and I don't know if this is good or bad. Cincinnati football team has already seen the Dallas Cowboys play. The Cincinnati football team, I think, went to Six Flags, which is right across the parking lot from me here. They've had a lot of fun. Alabama hasn't left the hotel. So, yeah, I don't know if that's good or bad,
because they didn't want to they didn't want to have any chance of anybody missing the game. So I mean, there's a possibility that 2 hours before kickoff, Desmond Ritter could test positive.
Yeah.
Because he went to Six Flags.
Well, I mean, all of that's possible, right? But I guess the premise is that it's a bowl game trip. It seems like for Cincinnati, it's a business trip for Alabama, and it makes sense. I mean, they've been to Dallas how many times now?
That's very true, but I do think that they made that decision because they didn't want any issues with the whole COVID thing.
No, they're definitely isolated. Yeah.
Yeah. Before we get to, I got a couple of Facebooks I need to read real quick, then we're going to get to our picks. Coy asks, talking about Paul Pasqualoni. Yeah, he was the head coach when we lost up there in '91 to the Orangemen back in those days. And yeah, we were a very, very good football team. We probably would have been in the national title hunt had we won that game. But it's like Coach Ferry said, your schedule sometimes screws you. If we don't even have to play Syracuse, we probably would have played for the national title. Okay. It's time for the Peachland Dentistry, Gator Nation's #1 choice for dentistry in Port Charlotte and surrounding areas. Visit them at peachlanddental.com. JC, what was your record yesterday?
Oh, gosh.
Well, there's only 4 games. I went 3-1. Did you go 1-3?
Yeah, I want to say that's right. I think that's right.
Actually, yeah. I think you went 2-2. I think you had Michigan State because I took Pitt and I got screwed with 10 seconds left in the game.
Yes, with the points. That's right. I did take Sparty with the points. Well,
Sparty was the favorite.
I'm sorry. Yeah. Right. I was laying the points. Correct. Yes, that's right. They were 3-point favorites. They had no business covering in that game. But good for them. Listen, they outplayed them in the second half. All right. So in today's games, you've got the 2 semifinal games in the football playoff mixed in with the Gator Bowl, the Sun Bowl, and those 2 games had teams that replaced original teams that were given bids. And good for Central Michigan, who had a game against Boise State in the Arizona Bowl. It gets canceled. They get on a plane and head straight to El Paso. And so let's start with that. I'm going to take Washington State because they've been sitting around in El Paso and Central Michigan's been traveling. I like Washington State laying 7 in that game. Plus, I think they're better.
They probably are better, but I got to believe Central Michigan is very excited to be playing in this game. And Chippewas, keep it close.
Hey, Wake
the
Forest.
Jim McElwains.
Yeah, good for them, man. I mean, they found a game to play. All right, Wake Forest is playing Rutgers, another team that wasn't going to play in the game at 5-7 because they lost their final game to a team that was supposed to be there. The team that's supposed to be there is not there. So Wake Forest, gets a break and they get to play Rutgers. I think Wake Forest has been dying to play this football game, but laying 17 is a lot. However, I think they'll score 60 points in this game. If they play well, that'll be enough to cover 17. So I'm going to take Wake Forest.
Well, God, this is interesting. I'm going to take Rutgers because that is a lot of points, and we do know Wake Forest's defense is just absolutely horrible. I don't even know what Rutgers does. I think Shiano's a pretty good coach. I don't know how he rounded up his team to even get back to New Jersey to fly to Jacksonville. So former Charlie Dean, my old tight end, his boy is a backup linebacker for the Rutgers football team. So I know he'll be at the Gator Bowl. I'm going to pull for Rutgers. I don't think they win the game, but hopefully they'll keep it close.
Yeah, no, that would be a winner. At 17 is a lot, but I know why it's 17, and I think it just makes sense. And then we've got the two semifinals. We'll start with the game I'm at here in Dallas. It's 13.5 points. The line has not really moved much. I just don't know what to expect out of Cincinnati. I mean, there are days when you think they can really there's a few, I'll sit through the day thinking about it, and then I think, yes, Cincinnati can absolutely keep this close. They got those two pro cornerbacks and all this. And then I thought, man, I've watched them play, and if they bring that type of team here, it's going to be like watching Alabama play, Mississippi State or Missouri. But I think Cincinnati's better than both those teams. So I guess I'll take Alabama laying the 13.5, but I would not be surprised to see this game inside of 10 points.
See, I hear all these experts, and I know Cincinnati is well coached. I think Luke Fickell's a phenomenal coach, and he's done a great job there. I know they got two really good corners, but Alabama's got more than two receivers, and they got the best damn player in America. And I just don't see this game being close. I hope I'm wrong for entertainment purposes, but I see Alabama win this game 38-10.
That'd be great.
I've seen Cincinnati play too many times, and I've seen them struggle against Navy. I've seen them struggle against Tulane. I just don't see it. And as you said, Saban is going to have the team very, very prepared.
I got to believe that too. This is a business trip. Alabama wants to go to Indianapolis. And then we go with Georgia and Michigan. And this game down in Miami is very interesting, but I think it matches up great for Georgia. I think Georgia's front seven will have a lot of success against Michigan. I don't think Michigan has the score. And I could be wrong. They're going to try to run the ball. I think Georgia, though, listen, they play with two tight ends in there. They're going to play power football as well. And don't think Georgia can't. They're not going to try to run the football either. And so I got Georgia in this game, but that 7.5 is so tempting. And Vegas wants you to take Michigan so badly by putting that half point on there. And Georgia's going to win this game by 2 touchdowns. So I'm taking Georgia.
Yeah, I think Georgia rolls them. I was surprised, listening. I think I said it yesterday's show with Brent Beard. I don't remember where I was, but I had it on some sports talk show, and Mel Kiper was breaking this game down, JC. He predicted Georgia to win by 4 touchdowns.
Well, really? 4 touchdowns?
Yeah.
Well,
he said Georgia is clearly better than Michigan, and he said they will destroy them. I don't know about that, but I'm with you. I just think Georgia's got way too many more athletes. They've been in this situation. And I think they play right into what Georgia does well.
I agree.
Michigan's not a great throwing football team, and I think if you're going to beat Georgia, you got to throw the ball.
Well, yeah, because I know those 2 running backs are good for Michigan and so forth. The offensive line is very good at Michigan, very good. But this is a matchup that favors Georgia, in my opinion. So I like what Georgia is going to be able to do defensively. There won't be anybody getting behind those defensive backs like we saw in the SEC championship game. And so if Georgia pulls up 10-0 on Michigan early like they did against Alabama, they will not lose that lead. I don't think Michigan has the ability to come back. Now, if Michigan can keep this game close at halftime, if this game is 10-10 or 13-10 at halftime, and Georgia starts remembering that they always choke in the postseason, which they do, then sure, Michigan could absolutely hang around. but 4 touchdowns seems a little bit ridiculous. And I do know that these semifinal games have that tendency to get out of hand at times. I think the one that could get out of hand will be the one I'm at here, as opposed to that one down there. But I think Georgia's going to win this game by 10 points or more. So give me Georgia. I hate laying all those points, but I just think we're seeing for a rematch. The rest of the country will hate it. That'll bring down ticket prices, hopefully in Indianapolis for me. So we'll see.
Joseph says on Facebook Live, brought to you by Melon Law, Saban literally has his team thinking they are the underdogs. How about that for great coaching? Cincy is doomed.
Incredible.
Alabama voted as a team not to even leave the hotel. They came to win the game and not all that other stuff. Yeah, they're going to get. I think they can blast them.
QB, the quote is, Saban's told these kids, listen, you're not going to remember one damn thing you did on Tuesday the week before in Dallas, Texas, 3 weeks later. You're not going to remember it 3 months later. You're not going to remember it 3 years later, but you're always going to remember how you played in that game. And he does. He's got these guys absolutely zeroed in. I'd be shocked if they don't play well with all the rest they've had and all the preparation for a team that, to me, is pretty good, but I could probably name 2 other teams that probably would be a better matchup for Alabama, 2 or 3 or 4 actually, that would be a better matchup for Alabama in this game today. So I think it's going to be great for the SEC too, QB, because we've got people like Cannell and all these other folks that have buried the SEC. I mean, 1-5 in the postseason right now. 1-5.
Well, look. The teams that have lost in the bowl games were bad football teams. They're normally decent. You know, usually those teams in the SEC are decent. They're bad this year, so that has no bearing on what's going to happen today. All right, JC, let's roll through Let's roll through the rest of the games tomorrow on New Year's Day.
Okay, I've got Arkansas laying 2.5, and this is where the SEC will step back into it, I think. Arkansas is laying 2.5 against Penn State at the Outback Bowl tomorrow at noon. I love the Hogs in this game because they're an excited fan base and an excited football team. I think Penn State's going through the motion. Give me Arkansas laying the 2.5. Go Hogs.
I agree. I think Arkansas hammers Penn State.
I also think Kentucky is going to hammer Iowa. I think physically they can match up with Iowa. I like Kentucky only laying a field goal. This is the Citrus Bowl in Orlando. Kentucky fans are excited about being in Orlando. I'm not sure. I guess Iowa fans are too. Why wouldn't they be? It's Iowa. But I don't think Iowa's worth the crap. Offensively, they're awful. Kentucky is a good enough team to win this game pretty easily. 3 points is not enough. Give me Kentucky.
I agree. I think both SEC teams win this game. I think they're going to be both very motivated. I think both their coaches have a grip on their football team, and their team believes in one another. I like both the SEC teams there.
Notre Dame and Okie State play in the Fiesta Bowl out in Arizona, and Notre Dame is laying 2.5 to Oklahoma State, who would be here probably had they won their Big 12 championship. Would have had a chance to be here. But they're getting 2.5 from Notre Dame. I don't really like Notre Dame necessarily. I think, maybe Brian Kelly leaving, but with the guy they replaced Brian Kelly with being so popular, I think that football team is engaged, and I think they can play with Okie State. But I just like Oklahoma State's defense, and I think they'll collar up Notre Dame. Plus, I never take Notre Dame in these deals, so give me Oklahoma State plus 2.5.
Yeah, I was hoping you were going to take Notre Dame because I'm taking Okie State because I hate Notre Dame. But I do think that Notre Dame's going to play hard for Marcus Freeman. But hopefully Gundy will have his boys ready.
All right, we've got a 4:00 game in the Rose Bowl. I'm not sure about Ohio State's personnel with all of the players missing in this game. Utah seems to be destined to do good things this year here at the end of the season. I'm going to take the Utah Utes with the points against Ohio State. It's probably a bad pick, but I like it. So give me Utah in this game. They are catching 4. Ohio State was vulnerable to the running game, and I think Michigan showed what you do against them. And I don't think offensively Utah is going to allow them to go up and down the field like I say Michigan State did. So I want to take the points here, take the dog, and give me the Pac-12 champion to beat Ohio State. It's probably not going to happen, but I'm going to go with Utah plus 4.
I kind of agree with your reasoning. I think Ohio State's still probably going to win the game because they just have better players. Even though they're missing some players, their backups are just as good. But I'm pulling for Utah because I just want them to win the Rose Bowl, and I want Ohio State to lose. So I'll take the Utes as well.
Finally, the Sugar Bowl at night. I love this game for Mississippi. They'll have a huge contingent down there in New Orleans. Smallest school in the SEC, other than maybe Vanderbilt, playing in the Sugar Bowl. The fan base will be energized. They get the Baylor Bears, the Big 12 champion. Great job, Dave Aranda. But I'm going to take Mississippi. This is where the SEC will reinvigorate today, and Greg Sankey is really hoping for it because everybody is just destroying the SEC right now.
You think Greg Sankey gives a damn if these teams lose, and then he has Alabama and Georgia playing next week?
I don't think. Well, listen, no, that's true, but that's an if scenario. I think right now Greg Sankey is not pleased that they're 1-5. No, I don't. But I do think today could really change the narrative on the whole SEC is over, and it means more sucks statement that the rest of the country is throwing at us. And certainly a big day today, coupled with an all-SEC championship final, will shut that narrative down. And I love Ole Miss to beat Baylor, and I think they'll beat Baylor by a pretty good amount. I'm going to say Mississippi wins this game 31-20, and so give me Ole Miss.
I like the Rebels too, and Matt Corral is playing. They have an opportunity to do something that the school's never done. So kudos to him for playing. So, all right, JC, and then the last game, LSU's on Tuesday. LSU's playing Kansas. I think Kansas State's going to beat LSU because LSU doesn't. They could care. That's a team that don't care about being there.
I'll let you know Monday.
I don't even know who's coaching that game.
Right, I agree. So I think today is obviously it's a huge day. I'm excited about it here. It's about to get really cold here after today, so I'm ready to leave. But today's going to be a beautiful day, and let's just see if Alabama and Georgia can get that rematch. I think the rest of the country would be really upset about it, so hopefully that'll happen.
All right, JC, real quick before we let you go, what jersey are you wearing? What number is on your jersey you're wearing in the game?
I'm not wearing a jersey.
Eddie Lacy? You're not wearing Eddie Lacy jersey?
No. I've got an Alabama polo, a collared shirt with blue jeans and a crimson hat. And if it were cold, I'd have my traditional Alabama sweatshirt that I've worn throughout the years and throughout these multiple championships. I'm wearing that right now here in the fog outside the Sheraton, which, by the way, they need to bulldoze this place. The proximity is great, but, man, it's an old hotel. Let's get something done. Marriott needs to take care of that. And, we're ready to go, man. I'm excited. I love being in Dallas. Alabama loves being in Dallas. The SEC loves being in Dallas. Dallas is going to be an SEC town here soon with Texas coming over and Oklahoma. So those are the only two schools that matter in this city. Is Texas and Oklahoma. And then you've got, of course, the SMUs and all that. But Dallas is SEC country, baby. So let's see if we can keep the fire burning here and just boat race Cincinnati and send them packing. Let's do it.
All right, JC. Be safe and Happy New Year, my friend. Take care.
Happy New Year, my man. We'll see you Monday and talk about it then.
All right, that's JC. Join us on the Titan MR hotline. Went a little bit longer than we anticipated, but we're going to take a timeout, come back, answer some of your questions and comments. You're watching and listening to Pod Up with Matthews in the morning.
We want to take this moment to thank all our sponsors who keep the show going and pay the bills. Crime Prevention Security Systems, large enough to serve you, small enough to care. Titan MRI, Gainesville's only locally owned and operated MRI facility. Meldon Law, won't back down. Peachland Dental, Gator Nation's first choice for dentistry in Port Charlotte. Comfort Temp, comfort is our business, peace of mind is our promise. QC Kinetics, live pain-free with QC Kinetics. Great Clips, it's gonna be great. Our Gridiron sponsors are Auto ER, UF Bookstores, Celebration Point Town Center, South State Bank, Chris Doring Mortgage, Silverback Concrete Co. Some of our touchdown sponsors are Campus USA Credit Union, Adams Rib Company, Doreen Wiebe Realtor, Caldwell Banker, MM Parish, Gator Dominoes, Celebrate Primary Care, Gator Bait Media, Wrap Spot, Okito America, Gators Dockside, Style Cuts, Big Mills Cheesesteaks. If you are interested in promoting your business on the show, visit podupwithshane.com and click the advertise button. Again, thank you to all the great businesses that support the show. If you like what we are doing here, make sure you follow us and support the businesses that support us.
Welcome back to the Crime Prevention Security System Studios. Large enough to serve you, small enough to carry. Celebration points where the Gators go to celebrate. With premium brands like Nike, Regal Cinemas, Le Macaron, Dave & Buster's, Medici's, Palmetto Moon, and the HBC's restaurant Spurs Gridiron Grill. Now serving brunch on Saturday and Sundays. We'll see you at Celebration Point where the Gators go to celebrate. I think Coach Spurs, well, not Coach Spurs, but Spurs having a big shindig tonight. You can go there and watch the ball drop in the big town of Gainesville. Andy asked here on Facebook Live, brought to you by Metal Law. Shane, they trimmed the Football Hall of Fame finalists to 15 yesterday. How does Fred Taylor not make that final? Andy, I have no idea. Fred Taylor will eventually make it. I don't know when, but if you take him off the Jacksonville Jaguars, he would have already been in the Hall of Fame. To me, he's the best running back Florida's ever had, the school, and definitely deserves to be in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. It's a shame, but I think playing for the Jaguars, and shoot, if he doesn't play for the Jaguars, who knows how much better of a player he would have been. But a phenomenal tailback with power and speed. Not many came along like Big Fred T. But yeah, it's a shame. I don't know how it works. I think it has to do with what markets you play in, things of that nature. But he will get in eventually. But he deserves to be in for sure. Chris Doring Mortgage, they do mortgage lending right, helping home buyers throughout Gainesville and North Central Florida. Call Chris Doring Mortgage today at 352-244-0840. We'll have Chris on next week. His company is the sponsor of the Steve Spurrier Coaches Award that goes to the head football coach that does the best job in year one of his tenure. And I think the three finalists are Gus Malzahn at UCF, Shane Beamer, and Josh Heupel. I got a feeling Shane Beamer's going to win it now, that unless they haven't already had their votes in. But what he did at South Carolina was remarkable, in my opinion. Cliff says the only back at Florida I would ever take over Fred is Emmett. I think Emmett was obviously Emmett's the all-time leading rusher, but I don't think he's as good a running back as Fred Taylor. That's just my personal opinion, and I love Emmett. But, shoot, Fred Taylor had speed and power like nobody else. And, shoot, he was so good, so dang good, no question about that. Who's everybody think they're going to win today? Bama and Georgia? That's who I think is going to win. I think the Georgia game will be very compelling early, but I think Georgia's going to pull away. It's going to be interesting to see if Georgia were to lose this game, how many people want to blame Stetson Bennett. It blows my mind. He is not the reason they lost to Alabama. The reason they lost to Alabama is due to their defense. That stout defense couldn't stop anybody. They couldn't stop the Alabama offense for sure. So we'll see. But I do think I think Alabama rolls today. I don't know. Maybe I'm in the minority on this for some reason. People think Cincinnati has a really good chance. I know Rick does. A lot of the so-called experts. I know they're coached very well, but I just don't see it. I think Bryce Young's going to have a field day. So we shall see. 3:30 it kicks off. Anybody going to the Gator Bowl today? All our listeners over in Jacksonville. Brian says he wants Michigan to win just so he can't root for Georgia. UGA fans will melt down if they lose, says Paul. They will. But shoot, I'd rather be in have that opportunity to be in the 14 playoff and lose every year than not get there. So we shall see. Andy asks, how many sacks will Hutchinson have today? He's a very good player. Usually you game plan. We'll see what Georgia's offensive coordinator does to try to slow him down. Sometimes it's better to run right at a guy like him. So we shall see. Cliff says on Facebook Live, brought to you by Metal Law, Bama and Georgia, that's who he thinks is going to win, but he's pulling for Michigan. I think the Michigan's defense will let them hang in there for about 3 quarters. Yeah, we'll see. We shall see. So anyway, let's take our second time out of the program, come back, get some final comments. and wrap up this final edition of 2021. You're watching and listening to Pod Up with Matthews in the Morning.
We want to take this moment to thank all our sponsors who keep the show going and pay the bills. Crime Prevention Security Systems, large enough to serve you, small enough to care. Titan MRI, Gainesville's only locally owned and operated MRI facility. Meldon Law, won't back down. Peachland Dental, Gator Nation's first choice for dentistry in Port Charlotte. Comfort Temp, comfort is our business, peace of mind is our promise. QC Kinetics, live pain-free with QC Kinetics. Great Clips, it's gonna be great. Our Gridiron sponsors are Auto ER, UF Bookstores, Celebration Point Town Center, South State Bank, Chris Doring Mortgage, Silverback Concrete Co. Some of our touchdown sponsors are MB Listing, McDonald's of Gainesville, My IT Masters, Gainesville Neon and Signs, 84 Lumber, Tropical Smoothie Cafe, Avera and Smith, Dowling Signs, Baker's Sporting Goods, Ruse Ogra Agent, State Farm Insurance, Silver Q Billiards and Sports Bar. If you are interested in promoting your business on the show, visit podupwithshane.com and click the advertise button. Again, thank you to all the great businesses that support the show. If you like what we are doing here, make sure you follow us and support the businesses that support us.
Visor's Tailgate and Rooftop Bar, located on top of Spurrier's Gridiron Grill in Celebration Point, is now open Thursday through Saturday. Visor's covered open-air bar is the perfect place to gather after work or meet up with friends. You'll love the handcrafted cocktails and elevated shareables available every Thursday through Saturday. Visor's Tailgate and Rooftop Bar is perfect for fans of great food, great drinks, and great weather. Visors not required. High spirits are highly encouraged. Visit spurriers.com/visors.
Welcome back to the Crime Prevention Security System Studios at South State Bank. We understand that small businesses need a community business partner they can rely on. South State has 4 convenient Alachua County locations. South State Bank, banking forward, member FDIC. Mary says, thank you for the great Pod Up program. Look forward to it every day. Wishing you a happy, healthy New Year. Same to you. We appreciate y'all, all our listeners tuning in. Let's get to This Day in Sports, brought to you by our good friends at Comfort Temp. Comfort is our business, peace of mind, our promise. They are hiring with team members with all levels of experience. $1,000 signing bonus for qualified positions. And give them a call, 352-376-2366. This Day in Sports, in 1974 at the 41st Sugar Bowl, the Nebraska Cornhuskers beat our Florida Gators 13-10. 1974. I wonder who was coaching that 1974 team for the Gators. That was way before I became a Gator, so I wasn't aware of that. But that's brought to you by our good friends at Comfort Temp. Really appreciate all you guys listening throughout the year. We're going to try to make this program bigger and better in 2022. Be safe for all your celebrations tonight. If you're watching the ball drop, what have you. Enjoy all the football games today, and we will see you in 2022. Today's show's a wrap, brought to you by Rat Spot. See you, folks.